Okay, let's just dive right into this explainer. We're going to decode the secret rules of spoken French that will absolutely help you sound more confident and natural. If you're a student who has ever felt, completely lost when listening to native French speakers, literally wondering where one word ends and the next begins, you are in exactly the right place. Today, we're taking all that confusion and turning it into total clarity. So, here's our step-by-step roadmap for today. We're going to cover the mystery of spoken French, Step 1, mastering enchaînements, Step 2, demystifying liaison, the 5 liaison consonants, the 3 liaison rules, and finally, practice and speak aloud. All right, part 1, the mystery of spoken French, or why writing completely lies to your ears. To really get this, we have to understand a fundamental truth about French. Spoken French, it completely ignores the written word boundaries you see on paper. When we read, we see these neat little spaces between words, but when French is actually spoken out loud, those spaces just vanish. And this example brilliantly illustrates the problem. Look at these 2 phrases. On the left, ces films embellissent, these films beautify. On the right, ces fils m'embellissent, these threads beautify me. They look entirely different in writing, right? But out loud? No way. They sound exactly the same. Ces films embellissent. The final consonant of one word just crashes right into the vowel of the next. It creates this total ambiguity that simply does not exist on the page. Which brings us to this really fascinating point from our source material. French children actually master these sound connections way before they can read the messy, deceptive spelling. As the quote here points out, any French-speaking child spontaneously says les éléphants with that connecting Z sound without even suspecting that spelling exists. It's wild. They learn purely by ear, just feeling the natural rhythm of the language. And honestly, that is exactly what we're going to teach you to do today. Moving right along to Step 1, mastering enchaînement. Basically, connecting what is already there. So our first major tool to really fix your pronunciation is enchaînement. Simply put, enchaînement is what happens when a word ends in a sound that you already pronounce, and the very next word starts with a vowel. Instead of pausing between them, the consonant and the vowel crash together into a brand new syllable. It's like the ultimate linguistic glue. To put that into perspective, the crucial point here is that a phrase like femme adorable doesn't have a gap in the middle. It becomes femme adorable. It mathematically merges the M sound from femme and the A from adorable into this totally new syllable, ma. Same thing with rêve habituel. It becomes rêve habituel, linking that V straight to the A. You're literally restructuring the syllables as you speak. But okay, there is one major roadblock you gotta watch out for. The only time this natural link gets blocked is by a specific letter called the aspirated H, or aspirated H. It's basically a historical relic that acts like a brick wall. For example, if you connect the words in on l'homme est, the man is, you get a beautiful, smooth flow. But if you try to say the man hates, which is l'homme est, that invisible H blocks the connection. If you force the enchaînement there, you literally change the entire meaning of the sentence. So watch out for that. All right, let's hit Step 2, demystifying liaison, waking up silent letters. Now, if enchaînement is connecting what's already there, liaison is honestly a bit like magic. Unlike enchaînement, liaison is more of a phonetic ghost. It's a silent letter at the end of a word that you would normally never pronounce. But when a vowel comes standing right next to it in the following word, that silent consonant suddenly wakes up. It comes to life and attaches itself right to that vowel. And as our source points out, this can lead to some pretty hilarious misunderstandings, like this story about entomologists studying cockroaches. Seriously, imagine hearing the phrase, they zoothek. Your brain immediately gives you 2 options. Are they talking about animal museums, zoothek, starting with a Z? Or are they talking about cockroach egg cases, which are called ootheks, and that Z sound is actually just the silent plural S from the word day, waking up because de plus ootheks makes de zoothek. As a listener, you're relying entirely on context to know it's a liaison. So why does this phantom letter phenomenon even happen? Well, it's entirely historical. Modern French spelling is basically a fossil. Let's take the word est, meaning is. Back in the Latin period, it was pronounced fully as est, with a hard T. But between the 12th and 16th centuries, speakers got a little lazy and just dropped those final consonants. The old letter stayed stuck in the spelling, though, so today we only pronounce that ancient T as a liaison, like when we say il est amoureux. It's pretty cool, actually. It's like a linguistic bridge straight back to the past.
Okay, moving on to part 4, the 5 liaison consonants, the sounds that actually wake up.
Let's dive into the data here to see exactly which consonants are doing all this heavy lifting in modern French. And good news, it's really not as overwhelming as you might think. Based on an analysis of over 50,000 liaisons, you really only need to worry about 3 sounds: the Z, the N, and the T. As you can see, together they make up over 99% of all liaisons. The R and P sounds? Incredibly rare. So definitely focus your energy on Z, N, and T. By applying these specific consonants to vowels, we create the most frequent, natural syllable structure in the whole language, a consonant followed by a vowel, like les animaux gives us the syllable za, ton époux gives us ne, trop habitué gives us spa. It just makes everything flow so incredibly smoothly without any of those awkward, clunky pauses. Which brings us to section 5, the 3 liaison rules, knowing exactly when to connect and when to stop. Now that we actually know what these connections are and which letters are doing the work, we have to learn the strict rules of when to use them. It really helps to break this down into 3 simple categories. Kind of think of them like traffic lights, right? Green means systematic liaisons you absolutely must do. Yellow means variable liaisons you can do but don't have to. And red means impossible, liaisons you must never do. Let's start with the green light. Systematic liaisons are completely non-negotiable. They happen between heavily linked words. For example, you must connect a determiner to a noun, like les hommes. You must connect a pronoun to a verb, like elles arrivent. And you always connect plural numbers, like deux amis. In fact, that Z sound acts as this massive indicator to the listener that you're talking about something plural. It's absolutely crucial. Now for the yellow light, variable liaisons. What our source data shows is that these are actually kind of dying out in modern, casual conversation. Look at the word sont here. People only make that liaison about 19% of the time now. So as a student, really don't stress too much if you drop these outside of, say, a formal reading or a speech. The language is evolving, and younger generations are just dropping them super fast. But then we have the red light. You must avoid impossible liaisons. This is especially true when it comes to nasal vowels. If you try to add a false N sound after a nasal vowel, you will completely scramble the meaning for a native listener. Check this out. If you want to say the spy arrives, l'espion arrive, and you accidentally make a liaison and say l'espion arrive, it sounds exactly like the spy is not arriving. It literally reverses the meaning, so definite red light there. Finally, section 6, practice and speak aloud. Time to take action. All right, we've unpacked the rules, we've looked at the data, but honestly, the only way to truly rewire your brain and conquer spoken French is to take these concepts off the page and put them into your mouths. Remember these 3 critical takeaways from today's explainer. Number 1, stop trusting the spaces between written words. They're an illusion. Number 2, practice enchaînement by actively pushing your final pronounced sounds forward into the next vowel. And number 3, confidently wake up those silent Z, N, and T consonants for your systematic liaisons. So here's your homework. Pick your absolute favorite expression from this explainer today, whether it's les animaux ou femme adorable, and say it out loud to yourself 10 times right now. Get that muscle memory working. And look, if you want to truly master this, enhance your speaking skills, your pronunciation, and get that real-time correction, I highly recommend booking a session to learn and speak with teacher Emanuela. She holds a university degree and has years of specialized experience in teaching conversational and fluency French. She knows exactly how to guide students through these tricky enchaînements and liaison rules so you can finally sound natural. Stop guessing and start speaking with confidence. After all, if French children can master this stuff without even knowing how to spell, why shouldn't you?